Okay, so if you are confused whether you should switch your home loan or not, then to answer your questions, we have a special guest with us in the studio. We have Adhil Shetty. He's founder and CEO of bankbazaar.com. Adhil, welcome to our show. Now, you know, the government, or rather, let's say NHB, is talking about putting in a lock-in period. Now, banks are putting pressure on NHB. They say that the customer is quickly changing from one bank to another. It's not adding to the book. It is just an added, what would you say, a pain for them. But does this make sense? What do you say? Is switching your loan from one position to another, one bank to another bank, is it beneficial for customers?
So, you know, home loan rates have been falling, and customers, I think today are very savvy. So we find a lot of people checking online, for example, saying, should I refinance my home loan or not? Now, the answer really depends upon who you are and what kind of home loan you're currently running. I'll give you a simple example. If you have a 30 lakh home loan outstanding and you're currently paying 10%, if you were to refinance that loan, assuming it's a 20-year tenor left, to a 8.5% rate, which is prevailing now, your EMI saving can be as much as 3,000 rupees a month, which is a substantial saving. Now, the situation is very different if you're at the very end of your home loan, the tenor remaining is less. If you're already paying a low interest rate, you're already at 9%, the difference between 10 and 8.5 is much larger than between 9 and 8.5. The saving amounts might be different. There's also a cost to consider. So there is a processing fee of up to 10,000 rupees when you refinance your home loan. That needs to be considered. So I think customers need to do their own research. There's no blanket answer saying it's good or it's bad. You need to see how much savings can you make by refinancing, what is the cost to you for refinancing, and should you go ahead and do it or not. So that's a decision every consumer can make by doing some research online. A lot of websites, Bank Bazaar provides calculators where you can check online.
You are saying that this research can be done by the customer themselves, but frankly speaking, a lot of customers do not understand the nitty-gritties of loan. They just go look at a number and say, okay, fine, I'll take the loan, reputed bank, good number, good interest rate, let me just go for it. If you have to break it down into a few factors that a customer needs to evaluate himself on, then what would you say? What are the things you would say that write down these 4 or 5 things and then do a calculation and make a decision?
Yes, see, if you were to pick out 2 important factors, right, I think it's pretty straightforward. One is what is the reduction in EMI and thereby the saving you make in your outflow for the remaining tenor of the loan. So let's say you're paying a certain EMI now. You know that if you refinance, you'll get a lower EMI. So there are special rates, for example, if it's a woman borrower or a woman is one of the applicants. So you go online and you check saying if you refinance, what is the current rate. So for example, women borrowers can get as good as 8.35% today. So you check saying my EMI today, if I refinance at a lower rate for the same tenor, what is your EMI? Now that gives you your savings component. If you multiply your EMI saving into the number of remaining payments, you have the savings component. Okay. Then you have a cost component. Your largest cost component, right, is your processing fee. So your processing fee could be up to 10,000 rupees to apply and refinance for a fresh home loan. So that's the saving and the cost that you weigh. And obviously there is some time and effort required. Yes. It's much faster if you can do it online, but there's still a time and effort required, and you need to consider that also in your decision.
Okay. So we have a few queries from our viewers, and they want to know whether it's smart for them to switch or not. So we have one query sent by Ujjwal Kumar. He has sent us an email and he says that he wants to take the benefit of a discount on his home loan interest under PMAY, that is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. He is a government employee with 12 lakh per annum salary and has taken a home loan of 30 lakhs from SBI in August 2016 with an interest rate of 9.35%. Now he wants to know that he has an option to go for an 8.35% interest rate, and he's been seeing that in the SBI ads only. So he's not even in fact talking about changing his bank. Now, What he wants to know from you is whether he can do that under PMAY or not. This is a huge issue for people because Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana beneficiaries are usually not well they don't really know what all is available to them.
Yeah, see, the PMAY is a great scheme by the government and the Prime Minister to encourage affordable housing. Now, Ujjwal's question is very interesting. Now, PMAY, right, technically is available to anyone within certain income brackets. So, for example, 12 lakh falls within the MIG 1 bracket, which is the medium income group 1. And as long as the home is less than 90 square meters carpet area, it is eligible for PMAY. Now, PMAY is something everyone should make use of. It's a fantastic scheme by the central government. For someone in MIG 1, you can get a subsidy up to 2.35 lakh on the loan amount, assuming you apply under the scheme when you take a fresh home loan. Now, the catch, right, or the issue for Ujjwal is that you can't refinance under PMAY. So, this is for people who don't have or own an existing house, a pakka house, and that family wants to go in for a house. The government wants to encourage you to go in and buy the house by giving you that subsidy. So, Ujjwal himself is not eligible because refinance doesn't come under PMAY. That being said, right, Ujjwal asks a second question, which is, should I refinance my loan? Now, that goes back to my earlier point. If I understand correct, Ujjwal is paying 9.35%. Assuming that his wife is willing to apply with him, there are home loans available today with a woman applicant for 8.35%. Ujjwal needs to calculate, and like I said, there are a lot of calculators online, on Bank Bazaar, on bank sites, saying if my interest rate were to go from 9.35 to 8.35 for the remaining tenor that I have, what is my savings component? And if that savings component, right, is greater than the cost or the processing cost of going for that refinance, he can go ahead. Now, Ujjwal has two options. He can refinance either with his existing borrower, or he can refinance with his old borrower. So, he can either talk to his existing borrower and say, I want to refinance and put in the paperwork, or he can go online and do it to a new bank. So, both options are available to him.
Okay, so one thing is clear, that if you want to refinance your loan, you have to whip out that calculator, do a little bit of calculation. Just sitting and thinking about it is not going to work. But Adhil, thank you so much for coming into the studio and answering all these questions. Thank you so much.